Let's get down to brass tacks right now. Who's in right now? Heather, get us started, your top 6.
Well, guys, LSU, to me, earned the #1 spot this week to this point. I always have to quantify that because people forget. Joe Burrow, I bumped him up to #1 in my Heisman watch for ESPN.com this week. The offense is totally different this year. But look, they beat Texas on the road. To me, they have done more than Alabama or Clemson has to this point. They earned the #1 spot. #2, I have Alabama, road win against Texas A&M, still impressive. We talked about their offense, why they're good. We don't need to go over that again. #3, Ohio State. The Buckeyes were off, but they're still there in my mind. They have a fabulous offense, defense argument for one of the most complete teams. #4, Oklahoma. This is the first time I've had them in my top 4, and it's because of what we saw against Texas. Not just offensively, but also defensively. To me, that has been the missing piece of the puzzle. They were in the top 4 last year with one of the worst defenses I've ever seen covering college football, and now they're clearly taking steps. But Wisconsin, JV, you mentioned it before, and I'm with you. Defensively, they're great, but can they win a game with the passing game? That's what I want to know. And if they beat Ohio State on the road in Columbus, then my opinion changes of them. I'm not there yet. Again,
everyone's opinion will change at that point. Yeah, don't worry. We'll be right with you.
To this point, and then Clemson. That's it.
Well, I already made my case for Alabama, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but they're the most complete team in football, and they're #1. #2, I'm sticking with Ohio State. Sometimes when a team doesn't play, we forget about how good they really are. Ohio State is an outstanding football team with a quarterback who's playing at a high level. And then, Heather, LSU jumped up for me big time last night.
That's big time jump.
For me, it was 2 spots or something like that. I mean, when you're talking about the top, you jump up 2 spots, that's big time. That is an outstanding team. They play great defense. Joe Burrow is, I agree with you, he's playing at such a high level. And then Oklahoma yesterday, the way they played defense. You know, I mean, we know that they have talent all over the board on offense, and I continue to be impressed with Jalen Hurts and the way he's throwing the football. Clemson, he's just silently sitting there at #5, you know, kind of unimpressive. And then Wisconsin, I've bumped them up to 6, but I have a big qualifier, and that is like you. Yeah. When they get against those teams above them, can they score enough points? We know they can hold teams back. I don't know that they can hold Alabama down the way they held Michigan and Michigan State down. I'm not convinced of that yet.
No, I agree with you, Jim. I like everyone's top 6. I think we're almost all pretty much the same. My #1 is Alabama. Alabama with their offense. I love their offense. And defensively, I have to go with Nick Saban historically. As you mentioned before, Nick Saban historically is going to have a good defense. That's how he made his name. So I know that defense is getting better and better with young guys playing right now, that later on in the year, especially facing an LSU, they'll be ready to play. And then Ohio State, that's my most complete team right now. For all the reasons I said before with Justin Fields, and then on the defensive side as well. #3, LSU. Now, LSU isn't #2 or #1 because as good as the win was yesterday, it was still a #7 team, Florida, right? So Florida wasn't #2 or #3 in the country. They were #7 in the country. So if you play, you know, a top 2 or 3 team, yeah, then you get bumped up because
I'm dying over here.
I love it. Tell me, talk to me, Heather. Tell me why.
Well, they beat a top 10 team, and that's
Which
not
is
good
fine.
enough.
Well, not good enough to be #1 in the country. It's good enough to be #3 in the country.
You guys realize why this man's wearing a Super Bowl ring? Because his standards. Because he's talking the truth.
I want to dig in here, though, a minute.
Yes.
Both of you guys are telling me that Alabama and defensively and that they should be the best team in the country. I want to put up a graphic on the screen right now and show you this. Nobody has Wisconsin in their top 4. And yet, when you look at the defensive comparison, points per game, yards per game, third down conversions, look at where Wisconsin is.
Great.
Why not Wisconsin in the top 4?
Put offensive points up. Put that comparison
38
up.
on a great Michigan State defense, supposedly. Supposedly.
They hung 38 on a good Michigan State defense.
We came into the season thinking they were a great defense, right?
Well, that's gone. Long gone.
Okay.
Long gone.
So, but why not Wisconsin in the top 4?
Because they can't score enough points.
We don't know yet. It's not proven.
Well, it's okay.
It's not
99.99%
No, it's not.
to me.
But you guys have to be consistent, though, in your reasoning, because I hear both of you saying Alabama's going to be better defensively.
No.
Alabama is very good defensively.
They're good enough defensively when you talk about what they are.
First, let's backtrack for a second. So Alabama got riddled with injuries defensively. They have 4 true freshmen starting, 5 that are playing a lot of minutes. they're still very, very good defensively.
I agree.
What I'm talking about is those young guys, as they go later on into the season, they're not freshmen anymore. They are ball players, sophomore, whatever. I don't care what label you want to put on them, but it means that they've played a lot of ball, so the game is not too big for them. The game is slowing down for them.
Okay, it sounded to me like you were rewarding Alabama for a defense
About
that
to
will
be good?
continue
No,
to
Give
grow.
me
not
a
at all.
young,
Not at all.
talented
Yes.
player that's on the rise over a veteran player that's static in terms of his development. I'll take the young player with talent that's on the rise any day.
And by
Play
the
him
way,
early and watch him grow.
We're not knocking Wisconsin at number
No.
5 or
We
number
lo-
6.
we all
Like, they
love
are
them.
really good, and they're going to have their chance against Ohio State possibly twice to win the Big Ten or beat them and then win the Big Ten title. So they have every opportunity to be in the college football playoff. We're not knocking their defense. I love defense. Trust me. I love watching their defense.
So wait, but forget about Wisconsin. I can't get over why you don't have LSU. What has Alabama or anybody else done more than LSU?
They have Tua Tagovailoa and that receiving core and their ability to hang points up and in a way that is very rare to me against, you can say they haven't played anybody. They played good teams, all right?
I think to Heather's point, the road win at Texas, the win yesterday over Florida, and the fact that Heather, in her opinion, has Joe Burrow as her Heisman
Just
Trophy.
think of the
Texas has
LSU
lost
defense,
2
though,
games, by
as
the
we
way.
talk about LSU and how good they're. Just think about their defense and the points and yards they've given up.
And by the way,
21-0 in the last 4 possessions. They outscored.
no one had Penn State in their top 6. That's a conversation we can
They get
have.
their chance
And
to.
They will indeed. All right.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the ESPN app, and if you want more premium content, which you do, make sure that you subscribe to ESPN+. See you soon.